explainhelp.co.uk. Hi and welcome to another explainhelp.co.uk video. In this video we're going to fly the ILS at Bristol Airport using the instrument landing system. So at the moment we are currently flying out over on the coast, out on the Bristol Channel. Down there you can see Breen Down, over there you can see Weston-super-Mare, and just back behind us here you can see Sandpoint, or you will be able to in a minute. So how do we fly an ILS approach? Well, first of all what we need to do is our altitude is currently set to 4,000 feet, just over. So what we're going to do is we're going to descend down to about 2,500. The nose is now pitched down and we're now beginning to descend. Great stuff. Okay, what we're now going to do is we're now going to make the ILS frequency active. Now, if you look on here, this is your COM and nav panel down here. What you need to do is you've got a COM and VLOG switch. Currently, COM is selected. What we're going to do is we're going to select VLOG. VLOG is now selected. It will go a light blue. So what we're going to do now is we are now going to dial in the ILS frequency for the airport. If you look down here you can see 110, 150. That's the ILS frequency for the airport. How I got to that was by pressing this dial here. The outer dial, that does your left hand side frequency, and the right hand dial, that increases your right hand frequency. And what that's now done is that's now given us our instrument landing system frequency. To make that frequency active, press the arrow key here and that will make the frequency of 110, 150 active. So now what we're going to do is just one more thing we need to do is you need to, on CDI, you need to click CDI until it reads VLOG, and you'll know it sees VLOG because when you press it, the ILS instrument panel here will change, and you now get these needles. So what we're now going to do, let's press the altitude button, and that's now going to give us the altitude of about 3,200 feet. So now what we're going to do is we're now going to start our ILS approach. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make a turn onto about a 150 degree heading. Then what that's going to do is that's going to bring us around so we're facing towards Sand Bay. Now the significance of this is because this is a good place to pick up the ILS. So let's see what we've got. So as we turn to the left, okay, there we are. So our first point of reference over there is Breen Down. Our second point of reference over there is Weston-super-Mare. And our third point of reference, which is the more important one, is over there, which is Sandpoint. So what you want to do is when you're performing a 09 approach with air traffic control and you want to capture the localizer, you want to head for roughly over towards this point here. So here's Bristol Airport over here, currently at about 3,000 feet. So what we're going to do is in a few moments we're going to start a descent of about 100 feet per minute. Tell you what, we'll do that now. Vertical speed 100 feet per minute, there we are. And that's going to take care of our altitude. So the next thing we're going to do, let's see where we are in relation to the airport. So the runway is about here. So what we're going to do is we are going to in a few moments we're going to start a very gentle turn to the right, and what you'll see is these two needles here, more importantly this needle here. As we start our turn to the right, you'll see this needle start to become active. The aim is to try and bring this needle right down to here, so that this needle is literally a straight line covering those arrows, and that's how you know you're capturing the instrument landing system, and more importantly you're on the center line of the runway. So we're still not quite there yet, we've got a little bit to run yet. Okay, keep going. We'll get quick on there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're now going to start a turn towards the right. And if you look over here, there's the airport there. And look, now you look, there's the line there. The vertical line is now moving. Just keep it moving gently. It's all about gentle moves, giving yourself plenty of time. So there we are. There's the runway there. There we are there. And there's the center line there. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep a bit more of a left turn, a bit more height to lose. Keep your eye on that line. Now what I'm going to do is going to bring them in a bit more. There we are. We're going. It's good. Now what you'll find at the moment that we're slightly to the left of the runway. There's the runway there. There's our position there, and we're slightly to the left of the runway. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring them around a bit more. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to fly it manually. I'm going to turn the autopilot off. The autopilot is now turned off. Let's lower the flaps. So let's now bring it more across this way a little bit. You'll see why I'm doing this in a moment. It looks like we're actually steering away from the runway, but we're not. So there we are there. Now let's start to gently the instrument landing system is a very sensitive system. So keep your eye on the map down here. That's where we are there. And start to a left turn. Yeah, at the moment you see we're going to be entering the localizer from the right. So that's where we are there, and we're going to be there. It is. There's the the centre line coming in, so let's bring him over to the right. Like so. Now slowly. Okay, good. So, we've now got... So we're slightly to the left of the runway. Okay. So we need to bring him into the left. There we go. We've now got creeping in gently. Now, you see there, that's your glide slope. So, there we go. Now, the idea is to bring the glide slope down, so the glide slope is just down there. So what we need to do, we need to bring the nose down, we need to come slightly to the right, nose down, slightly to the right, and there we go. Look, that is what you're looking for right there. So bring it back over this way a little bit. Nose down a bit. Reduce power. Climb very down, nose down a bit. And there we are, look. Just a bit to the right. Nose down. Yep. Nose down. Come to the right slightly. Left, sorry. Nose up. There we are. So we got the... Right, we've lost the glide. That's it. Back there, there's a glide slope. And there, we've lost the glide slope now. By now, you would have turned the autopilot off. And there you go. So, what we did was we tuned the nav frequency into 110, 150. We're then using our map over here. We then vectored ourselves towards the ILS capture point, to where we established the localizer. We did lose it for a brief amount of time, but that's all practice. So we then regain the center line on the localizer, and it's all about keeping this needle here dead center, which is your center line needle, and this needle here straight across this line here, not above or below. Just try and get it as center to that as you want. And at one point the actual center line was right here and this needle was right here, and that indicated we had the perfect center line and the perfect glide slope. And that is basically how you use the ILS. Obviously, you know, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of practice, because you're constantly battling with the wind and stuff like that, but that is how you do it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. Thanks for watching. explainhelp.co.uk.